There were no officials on their floors to direct them down and that there were no clear safety procedures for them to follow. We're about to go now to our Dominic Carter, who's standing by live with the mayor in Osaka, Japan. As many know, the mayor traveled to Japan earlier this week for a business trip. Dominic.
Nancy, Mayor Dinkins had another full schedule set for today here in Osaka, but that all changed with the incident of what occurred in New York City. Now, Mayor David Dinkins is here with us. He has a statement that he's going to read to the people of New York City, and then we'll have the opportunity to ask him some questions. Mr. Mayor.
Good evening, fellow New Yorkers. I thank New York One for permitting me to speak briefly to you tonight. As I'm on my way back to our city, I want to bring you up to date on the events that have transpired over the last 9½ hours. At approximately 12:15 p.m., there was a large explosion at the World Trade Center, which caused the collapse of several floors in the basement of the parking level beneath Tower 1. A fire ensued, and due to a large amount of smoke, all 5 buildings at the World Trade Center were evacuated. At this point, we cannot rule out the possibility that the explosion was caused by a bomb, and a full investigation by a joint task force of New York City Police Department, the FBI, and the Federal Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency is underway. Tragically, there have been several fatalities. As I speak to you, we know that 7 people have been killed and hundreds injured. I know that no words could ever ease the pain of the families of those who have died, and I understand that an explanation of the facts cannot restore a life. I speak for all New Yorkers in offering my heartfelt condolences to those who have suffered a loss today. The pain which we cannot forget has fallen upon our hearts, and with bitter pain of wisdom, we must come to terms with this terrible tragedy. Since the time of this incident, I have been in close contact with First Deputy Mayor Norman Steisel, and through him I have directed each of our commissioners to mobilize all city agencies in full support of our relief efforts. We are ensuring that every city agency is providing maximum services under the emergency response procedures that have been developed. I've also been in contact with Police Commissioner Ray Kelly. I've directed him to implement our highest security plans. Commissioner Kelly assures me that the NYPD, in its role as citywide emergency coordinator, is managing all on-site rescue activities. I've spoken to Fire Commissioner Carlos Rivera about our fire control and evacuation procedures, and Dr. Billy Jones, the president of Health and Hospitals Corporation, has been instructed to ensure that all of our hospitals are providing the highest quality care to those who have been injured. Several hours ago, I spoke to the President of the United States, and President Clinton has offered his full support. He shared with me as well his concern for our residents who were trapped in the building earlier today. What I, as well as the President, and all the world have witnessed today is what I see day after day: the courage and compassion of all New Yorkers. Indeed, as the communications capital of the world, people from around the globe can see instantly the strength of our emergency rescue workers, the comforting hand of our firefighters, the conviction and compassion of those who have put aside their own fear to come to the aid of a pregnant woman or a disabled resident in need of help earlier today. They saw what each of us knows and indeed experiences each day, that New Yorkers will always come together in times of pain as well as in times of joy, that we will lend our hands and our hearts to help our fellow residents, and that no one in our city will ever be left behind. While my heart is saddened by the tragedy that has taken place today, my spirit has only been fortified by the strength, goodness, and sheer tenacity of my fellow New Yorkers, as well as the excellent response and astute judgment of New York's emergency services, fire and police and EMS and the Health and Hospitals Corporation. Thank you. God bless you all, and as all of you have done today, keep the faith.
Mr. Mayor, we have been up for several hours. You have been up longer than we have, the New York One crew, getting updated in terms of what's going on. As I've been saying in my reports, it's almost like you have a temporary command center here. Are you getting constant information, and are you also pleased with the dramatic video that we've been seeing, the fact that NYPD and EMS and so on are on the scene?
Well, yes, here in Japan, it is now a little after noon. I got word at approximately 3:25 Japanese time, which was 3:25 a.m., which was 1:25 p.m. in New York. And as you point out, we've been up ever since. I've been in constant communication with City Hall and with the Police Command Center, so that we've been getting reports in 15 and to 30-minute intervals, so that I am as in touch as I would be if I were in New York City, the difference being that I have an inability to go to the site. But in terms of communication with all the relevant forces, we've been able to do that. And I am pleased, not surprised, but pleased with the fashion in which the emergency services have responded. As you know, some 7 people have died. Hundreds have been injured. And there is a requirement, after they have been evacuated from buildings, and with the police and fire doing an excellent job of that, then the EMS has to do a triage and get people to hospitals, those that need that kind of care. And they're pretty good at it. I am told that this is the largest response that we have ever had to any tragedy. So Commissioner Rivera of the Fire Department advises.
Mr. Mayor, we have also seen from the video that's been coming from New York Live via technology, the fact that Washington, D.C. is on alert now. So are the airports in New York. Are you afraid that with all the skyscrapers in New York, another building could possibly be targeted?
Well, I'm concerned for our nation, recognizing that if this is a terrorist act, and it might be, we don't really know at this juncture. We're not sure that it was a bomb.